Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise, and moving to another topic, and we're joined on that topic with the Professor of Political Science, Dr. Taha Ali. I'd like to thank you at the beginning for joining us.
Thank you.
So the topic is about that Egypt has laid out its vision to become a regional energy hub following discoveries of large offshore gas reserves in the eastern Mediterranean. This vision is critical as the energy sector remains the major driver of the country's balance of payments. Recent developments suggest that Egypt has a clear potential to become a trading and exporting hub, notably for natural gas. However, the realization of this ambition will depend on the country's capacity to mitigate geopolitical, financial and regulatory risks. This should go hand in hand with energy diversification and to reduce dependence on gas and sustain anticipated exports.
Well, good afternoon, Dr. Taha Ali, Professor of Political Science. First of all, I'd like to ask you about the most recent summit, which was the most recent summit held at the Arab League, which was dedicated for sustainable development in the Arab world and cooperation together. The importance of such a meeting.
Such summit you speak about is related to these challenges around the Arab world in general and the new wave of instability that Arab world facing recently, especially on the level of security and economic stability and social integration among the Arab peoples in general. So such summit is as a part of massive and comprehensive working among the Arab leaders in order to gather their steps toward face such challenges. As you know, there are some great and serious issues and problems facing the Arab countries. Like Syrian conflict, Libyan and the Yemeni conflict. So making such summits nowadays, especially nowadays, are so important to foster the Arab efforts in order to face the upcoming challenges.
Yes. So, like you mentioned, there are a lot of challenges that we are facing, and we're going still to be facing.
Yep.
This is well known to a lot of political observers and analysts. But when it comes to energy, because usually if it all boils down to economy and energy. And energy is, you'll find struggles all around the world and wars all around the world that is all around energy eventually. So a step from Egypt about, this renewable energy focus and how to have those sources that would actually generate revenue for the country. How are you seeing this initiative going so far, given the fact that ever since the revolution, it has been center of focus, that energy is a big thing, and we have to start focusing and looking at alternatives and a better strategy for energy sources?
This point is related to the decision makers' perception for the core issue and the core problem facing the Egyptian society and the Egyptian state, especially after the 30 June revolution and the instability we faced during the recent years. The main problem in Egyptian society and Egyptian state is economic, economic problem. Political legitimacy and political stability and social satisfaction among the Egyptian peoples are related to economy in the very instance. So the regime led by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi sees that we start from economy. Economy is the backbone of the Egyptian life and the daily life for Egyptian citizens. So regime launched several mega projects in order to adopt the model of developmental states. We in political science we know the model of developmental states, such states that face the future by a huge and mega project like establishing industrial and agriculture in order to satisfy and to face your deficit in the gap between what you want and what you have in real resources. So energy come as a core point and the central point in such perception for the decision maker. So fortunately for Egyptian people, we have a potential resources, especially in the natural gas. As we saw at the recent months, several international institutions announces that Egypt has a great potential resources, especially and the gas field Zohr and other fields. So such potentials is expecting to provide the Egyptian economy so huge and huge hopes and opportunities to face our problems, as I mentioned.
Now, how can we utilize these sources to get out of our energy crisis?
More investing and more encouragement, encouraging for foreign investment and so to spread the awareness among people the importance of such field and such potentials and so to maximize the labor and work opportunities and for laborers in order to make propaganda and publicize and for the international and the foreign actors in order to attract them to invest in our potential resources.
Yes, and I think for the energy sources and efforts for renewable energy, the road is really long. I mean, countries, developed countries, has worked, decades in order to have significant improvements in their sources. I can give an example of Germany, but being in Europe, they don't have plenty of sunshine, but they have the amount, wind and also solar energy. They still have, they're using and relying on solar energy as a major source now of their energy sources. So do you think the efforts exerted today for the future is enough? Because there has to be a starting point for all of the channels.
Recently, we saw some great efforts from the officials, from Egyptian officials. Yesterday, the Minister of Foreign Cooperation announced they contracted several projects to establish a factory for to support the solar energy in Egypt and others. Several visits from the Egyptian officers and ministries, especially the Dr. Sahar Nasr, Minister of Foreign Cooperation and Finance. I think there are emergence of efforts in such fields, but I think there are more efforts are expecting in the upcoming days. So it's related to the awareness and the perception of decision makers in Egypt. So how to face our, how to exploit our potentials and how to deal with the foreign world to maximize and utilize such persons. So many efforts are expecting to be done here.
Now, I'd like to ask you, how do you see the president's speech in terms of talking about how do you see the president's speech in terms of talking about overcoming inflation? Because the president gave a speech in which he sort of said that there will be measures to overcome inflation, as well as to look into the social welfare and the national projects. How do you see that statement, and what do we need to fulfill the president's statement as well?
In order to be coexist and to walk in parallel with the Egyptian present logic in such a problem, especially, we have to be aware that the main project, I mean the economic problem in Egypt is needed to be, we have to wait more time in order to get a great harvest for the seeding such efforts we saw recent days. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi says that inflation is a result, a normal result for the instability we saw recent years. So among 13 and 14% of inflation nowadays is normal, and it's serious, but it's normal in the same time. So the first step in order to face such problem, to be aware which is this problem and how to face it. We have to be gathering in such logic, supporting the others in order to invest to get direct foreign direct investment. And so Egyptians also have to rationalize their behaviors, and especially in the payments in the Egyptian markets. Government have to make more and tight control over the markets, and so it's complicated efforts have to be done in facing such a problem. So inflation is a normal project in such stages in state building and the state and economics building in general.
Yes, can we have a look now on the measures or the economic reforms that are taking place today in Egypt? How are you seeing that? How are you viewing the development of those economic reforms?
Sorry?
The economic reforms in Egypt.
Economic reform was a necessity in one day. We have to clear with yourself where are you standing? Where you are standing? What is your real position? What is the real position for your economy? So you should have take such a step to liberalize your economy in order to face the other world, and clearly you shouldn't lie yourself. So, and economic reform was a necessity to cure our bad position in economy. So most of us know that it's hard, it's serious to be, and its burdens very heavy over the citizens' shoulders. But we should have to take such a step because of the seriousness of our position in the economy. Yes.
Now, how can we promote for foreign investments and industries, in particular in Egypt, to promote our economy?
In particular?
How can we promote industries and foreign investment to come to Egypt?
In order to to promote the foreign investment, we have to look to this point from all its aspects. Legally, we have to reconsider the legislations and the laws of investment in Egypt. So recently, the law of investments has faced this very contradiction and the problems between the Egyptian ministries and the civil society and the parliament. But recently, it was launched. So, and other law of investment have to be re-engineered and reconsidered. So the culture of investment in Egypt has to be reconsidered also. So we have to spread the awareness among the Egyptian citizens which is the investment, not only foreign investment but internal and domestic investment. So, and in the other level, we should promote the investment approved by launching campaigns to pursue the foreign investors in the international markets, to convince them that the Egyptian markets is worthy to be invested. And also we have to deal the Egyptian and local investors in normally, but we don't have to be abet them in establishing their entities. So in order to give the outer space and the foreign investors an image of Egypt that we are